Who delivered the good news?
Oh, Mr. Edgar, the big guy?
Wonderful. Great. All right. Great.
I guess one of the things I kind of wanted to go a little deeper into was how all the collateral damage of what Vought did or the superheroes do in general was just swept under the rug. The public didn't want to even the public themselves didn't even want to hear about it. Not only was like all the deaths and the hush hush money and yeah, we killed Robin, but here's 40 grand. Um, everyone seemed more than willing to just ignore it. And I think that was a pretty real moment that people live in today. Like,
I mean, are they really ignoring it? I don't know. Like, they didn't really show the media too much.
well, it didn't make it to the media. That's
Yeah.
ignoring it. That's the media really is only. I mean, I don't really. In the show, they make it look like the media has its own mind, but I think in real life, the media is a lot more controlled, and when things don't make it to the media and everyone hears about it, everyone doesn't get the information out, then it's basically ignored.
What do you mean by
Especially if the
more controlled in real life? You said the media was more controlled.
uh, left has their sides of the media, and right has their
So,
sides of the media.
yeah, like they own the media.
Yeah, so the Republican Party mostly, like, it's pretty well known the Republican Party owns Fox, and the Democratic Party owns, CNN and
But the
multiple others.
didn't make it look like they owned the media. It just made it look
No,
like
it made it look like the media was ran
yeah,
freely.
yeah.
Um, so I thought that was naive. But anyways, that's not my point. My point is that the people who experienced Robin's death, other than Huey, where this was more of like an accident happened than like a murder.
Yeah, well, there was even a scene, right, with the group, the support group, with all the other civilians or regular people that were negatively impacted by supers.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Butch goes in there and
yeah,
calls them pussies because they're not doing shit about it. And
yeah.
Butch is right. I thought he was right. Although the support groups help people get through their days day to day,
Mhm.
but at the end of the day, people want you to come to the conclusion that you're going to kick life's ass and you're going to stand up for it, and not just kind of just curled in a fetal position and talking misery.
Well, what do you think of that scene? Personally, I felt like Butch was dick.
That was a total dick move to do.
Yeah, it was.
You don't go into one of those rooms willingly, knowing that you're just going to troll them, basically,
Yeah,
and just ruin their days. It's like telling someone who says they want to do suicide to go ahead and do it. Like, you just don't do it. You just dick move. You know.
yeah.
Um, so that's what I was kind of surprised. To not surprised, but I thought they portrayed that pretty well. As long as all the public was willing to get their protection, they were willing for these weird things to happen, just to happen. Like his dad, they had that big blowout. Let's
Mhm.
see. I actually had it marked a time frame on the show itself on episode 3. Um, Huey and his dad get in a big fight, and Huey says that he hates staring at that TV screen like they're already dead, and it's true because Huey's dad's just willing to just like, oh, it happened, let's move on with your life. That was basically Huey's dad's entire shtick.
Yeah, well, he was.
Um,
I don't know how they describe it, but like kind of like they're like passive type people. Like remember Robin at the beginning, like pushovers, I guess. Robin at the
Pushovers,
beginning,
yeah.
yeah, at the beginning was like, oh, you didn't ask for that or raise you wanted from the boss.
Hmm.
And then his dad said that like when he wanted to fight for Robin, like he didn't want to just accept Robin death, he didn't want to sign the contract, the NDA or whatever, so he can't speak about Robin's death. And his dad was all like, "Oh, you should just sign it." Like he said something like, "You didn't have to fight in you." Or
You don't have
something.
you don't have the fight in you, yeah.
And then he's like, "Neither do I." So it seems like it's in the family.
Yeah, or basically we're limp dicks is basically what he was saying. Yeah, that was sad, and I think it showed a lot of complacency, I guess is the best word.
I guess in the public in
And
general.
in the public in general, I think, because there was a lot of people at Robin's death, and all of them knew how it happened. Oh, she stepped on the curb wrong. It's like she died jaywalking is basically what they're saying. Like she did, she like, but
It does seem like it's just collateral damage.
that's total collateral
Yeah.
damage.
And I think that was the name too of the support group or something, right? Like the
Collateral damage support group or something. Yeah.
it was something like that.
I think it's also interesting how Vought, the company, decides what crimes that the entire superhero team is going after. They, it's not like the superheroes go and find their own crimes.
Yeah, well,
They had an entire department that found crimes for them.
Yeah,
and then
they
were
plan
like,
out
"Oh,
the.
well, yeah," and then they plan out the freaking filming and stuff like that. Like, it's like,
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, on how it was set up, it was very corporation-y. So
well, it seems like they're not even giving them real crimes.
they didn't really dive too much into that. Maybe in season, like, how many scenes were there where they actually fought crime? There was the intro, like the first episode, the very first intro.
Right, they stopped a bank.
Heist or something like that, right? And then there was the one where they had like a sniper on the roof or something like that when Homelander punched a whole through guy.
Yeah, but that was staged. Do you remember that?
That was staged? I don't think that was
Yeah,
staged.
because I believe Homelander said something like, well, okay, he punched the guy, but I don't think he was supposed to kill him. Okay,
No,
maybe he was
yeah,
just
yeah.
not supposed to kill him.
Yeah, it was framing the
When he was framing the death, yeah.
justifying the killing.
like a bad cop would or something.
Yeah. There's that, that's 2. There's the airplane, 3, and then there was one more. Oh, there was a Starlight and the Deep.
But that one was a staged one, right?
Was it stage or did they like just plan
No.
the whole media and
To pop out while these criminals were caught in the act.
well, no, I think they did an investigation, like the Vault did, and they're like, "Oh, bad guys are gonna be here. We're gonna send the superheroes there," and then they were also there, ready with cameras.
I don't know. It's interesting.
I wonder if they planned the bad guys. I wouldn't. I mean, I bet they might because they did. At least Homelander planned like the terrorists thing.
Yeah, but then that was Homelander doing it his own
Yeah.
his own thing.
I don't know. You think they plan all the crimes? I don't think they do. The airplane
interesting.
didn't plan.
No, they didn't plan
yeah,
the first
yeah,
plane.
yeah.
No, I was thinking more of just the Starlight and the Deep one, and possibly the tower heist where the sniper is.
Yeah,
But
that one didn't seem like it. It just seemed like Homelander just wanted to kill the guy, and that was the only was I don't know, corrupt or like the thing that they should whatever. I think they didn't plan.
yeah, that's whatever.
I think
The show in episode 5 had a typical "I love you and then I kill you" scene between A-Train and Popclaw,
yeah.
where A-Train's like all endearing and "I love you" and it's all romantic, and then he shoves 5 needles in her arm, and it was like, saw that coming, just the moment's all building, and you already knew like A-Train was like not gonna do anything good for her.
That's stupid. I mean, did he really like? Was he trying to frame that it was like overdose or something? Like she OD'd?
That's how everyone took it.
Who OD'd like that with like 10 needles in her arm? It's just
So stupid. I didn't even
Fucking-
think about that. She'd have 5 needle marks
all at once, like
all at once.
that's
With
so
a super
obvious.
dangerous drug. Yeah, no.
I don't
it's
think
dumb.
it was. I don't think it was. It was just heroin, right? I don't think he made her OD with.
I think it was compound. I think it was the compound.
No, I don't think. I think it was just heroin. Was it blue?
Really?
I don't remember.
I don't remember it being blue, I guess.
I feel like they wouldn't risk.
But I remember them referring to her drug problem being compound V. Remember? Because didn't she do those squats and shit?
Oh no, yeah. So she did have a compound V problem, but I feel like when he killed her, that wasn't. Because I feel like, because then that would be like showing the world that compound V is. I feel like he wouldn't.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
But
Um,
I don't know. That was But I mean, I did like how it made it. I believe he liked her, and it just showed how powerless he was in that situation.
yeah. Yeah, I don't think he just felt he didn't feel comfortable bringing his personal life out to his A-Train life and split so you couldn't live both lives that way, I don't think. So it was sad for A-Train, but I don't think he
Really, I thought he was. I mean, I kind of felt that way at the beginning. That I was like, oh, he doesn't really like her. But then when right before he kills her, I really like how.
well,
he
I
acted
mean,
it,
you
how they
always
performed it.
like something more once it's gone. Right?
But then he was like,
oh, she's gone now. Well,
yeah.
I really did like her.
I mean, with the scene when he was about to face off Starlight. Wait, was it Starlight? No, it was whatever. When he faced off the boys and Starlight at the end, and he was like crying, was like killed.
Oh, you killed her. Yeah, he blamed. Well, that's kind of what like psychopaths do. They like blame other people for why they killed somebody. Like, no, you don't kill somebody, because someone else made you do it.
Well, I think he felt like powerless, like he was trapped into it. Like it was either him or her. Because if he didn't fix the problem, Homelander killed him.
Okay.
There was that
Homelander's
scene where
pretty scary.
Homelander was like giving him a massage or something like.
Yeah,
there
I'm
was
sure
a couple
it was.
scenes.
I'm sure it was
him
not a
with-
good massage.
Yeah. It was
The,
Homelander with him, and Homelander did the same thing kind of to Deep as well.
The entire time I was watching the Christian event scene, or the Christian event.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I was like, I wonder how this show portrays religion.
Or-
Yeah. And I don't know. It didn't seem one side or the other to me, at least until towards the end of the show. But it seemed like they stayed pretty in the middle because they were being like hard on it, like, oh, yeah, it's all lies and it's all fake. And these people, but they never made fun of the people for believing it being all lies and all fake. I don't know. It was just
I think
the
it was
company, like, because it's basically the company artificialized a god and then made people start worshiping them as if like their god created these gods, right? And they're almost kind of making the transition of God being these superheroes.
Yeah, well,
So that's kind of like a lot to unpack as far as
I think they
how religion
definitely made it seem like. I mean, I think it's just like playing on the whole gullible and how naive some religious people might be, where they would believe these superheroes are created by gods. To be fair, in real life, if you saw like Homelander flying around, I would believe he's
I would believe he's some kind of god or alien or something. Yeah, I would be, there's no way we know how to just make those.
Yeah, but I mean, I think with the whole religious aspect, especially with the episode, it was very I think it pointed out more hypocrisy of religion, especially like when they're in that circle and like they're asking Annie, not is it Stargirl? Starlight.
Starlight.
Stargirl.
Yeah.
Starlight. Starlight to lie to everyone or to the guy about.
Yeah. Well, that's why I feel like it went both ways, is because I feel like in this show, Starlight is kind of the main characters. Starlight and Huey, I think, are the main characters, right? Would you say
Yeah,
so?
I think so.
So one of their main characters being a religious background, and her speech, she shows that she's kind of like in between religion a little bit. They almost kind of make her that way, but at the end of the day, she like still believes and trusts other people to continue to believe. So I was like, okay, well, if they did that with their main character, then they're obviously like not against it. You know, that's kind of how I look at it.
I think the whole thing was they weren't necessarily against religion as a whole. It's just more like want to poke holes in it and like pick at the hypocrisy.
And I think they did a good job doing that, poking holes without like tearing it. You know.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought was pretty good. They did a pretty good job on that.
And I think at the end of it, like it's not like Starlight or Annie like decided that it was Christianity.
I think it was heavily implied it was basically Christianity. Yeah.
That like she didn't denounce it. Just like, oh, it's not how I remember.
Right. You know, it was in a little bit of a darker light, but still like for her, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to kind of go over was Huey had multiple chances throughout the entire season to no longer be part of one of the boys and stop being an asshole. Like, one particular moment where I realized this was when he went and asked for the Ezekiel tickets at the event. And I was like, you didn't have to, dude. Like, why are you, like, going with Butch and stuff like that? Do you think Butch was kind of taking advantage of Huey and of
I think
Huey
Butch
being pushed
was
over?
I think he was taking advantage of Huey since the beginning. Like why he approached Huey to begin with. But I think Huey mainly did it because he still believed in the mission of the boys.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, right. Because he still saw the like vault and the seven.
He was conflicted.
Yeah, like his mission was still to like take.
Once he saw that vault was a bad company, like all around.
Yeah,
I think he was in. There was no less.
Yeah, even at the end when like freaking Butch shot Starlight twice, like he left her. He went with Butch. Like he believed in it.
That saddened me as well that he ditched her and went with Butch.
Yeah.
I think at that point Butch is kind of proven to be an ass, but then every one of the boys was basically all in or
they weren't.
Not.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they were all in. French and his name?
Mother's Milk.
Is that really his name? I remember they were joking.
Mother's Milk, man.
Okay,
Mother's Milk was his
right.
name throughout the whole show.
Okay, well then.
They called him MM or something. Yeah.
All right, so yeah, those two were out, right? They were like, "Fuck you, Butch," like, because Butch pretty much.
Yeah, but then they'd always be like, "Oh, I'm out of here," and they take their laptop. But then all of a sudden, like, they're back next episode. You know. That was kind of one of those things.
Butch.
Yeah.
Well, anyways,
Butch
I think that's why.
really
I think
dark.
that's why Huey. I think after Huey realized like the real evil of the Seven, it wasn't about his girlfriend Robin. It wasn't about Robin anymore. It was about taking down the 7. Realized there. So it wasn't really about A-Train, because initially his only problem was with A-Train, not even the 7. Did A-Train? A-Train ran through Robin. So by the end of it, it wasn't about, like, I think he kind of got over it, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, I think he got Starlight to see point too. You know, Starlight questioned her mom and everything.
Yeah, which I was glad because it seemed like the mom, because there are moms like that who plan out their parents' entire lives.
Yeah.
For better or for worse, you know, who knows? Who am I to say how to raise your children? But there are moms out there who do that. They plan out every year of their child's life, and some of those kids grow very, very, very smart and in Harvard, and some of them become drug addicts. So it goes both ways. I'm serious.
That's the only two options. You're either good to go, you're well adjusted.
No, I'm just saying this is the spectrum, you know, drug addicts, Harvard, and they have everything in between, but those are the two ends.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what it is. I mean, it's like Starlight had a mom but it's kind of weird if you think about it, because Starlight has a mom and she's relatively well adjusted, and then
what do you mean well adjusted?
Like, she's, you know, she can think for herself, she's her own individual.
Her mom?
No, Starlight, Annie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Even though she had a mom, but then Homelander's arc that he doesn't have mom or any parental figures.
Oh, I see where you're going with this. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean.
Yeah, but then Homelander was then, but as a result, you know, Homelander was obviously more. Not saying he was stronger because he had no parents, but he was more cutthroat. So he was more of the aggressor in life than he was being aggressed on. You know, he was the offender, not the defender. You know what I mean?
Do you think
so?
What do you think Homelander is like? Pure evil?
Pure? No, not pure evil. I think he just wants everything to be his way, and I think he has the power to do it. Although his intentions may be selfish, they're not evil. You know the difference?
Yeah. I mean, there were a few scenes where I felt like he was very open, and he felt like...
Well, he's just emotional. He's very emotional, and then he acts on those emotions. But unfortunately, when he acts on his emotions, he's Superman. Like you said it in part 1, he's basically Superman with emotions. Like, he's very emotional Superman, and he acts on those emotions. So he laser beams when he wants to laser beam. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm hoping. I think it would be cool in season 2 if they have Homelander struggle a bit more with his morality, because now he has a...
Well, let's find out about season 2 that we knew. Throw on some trailers.
Well, I don't know. There's a few.
Pull up a few that you have. Let's watch.
I'm not sure what I have. Go days ago. First look clip. All right, so let me share this. All right. See it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if you'll be able to. Oh wait, I think. So this is what I saw that was new. It was 2 days ago.
I hear it.
You hear it? Cool.
Brakes external! Go, go, go! Go, go, go!
Oh shit. Chart? Are they getting chased by the deep?
I guess. I didn't know Deep had that power.
He could talk to all animals and basically make them do whatever he wants. Basically like their celebrity.
Oh yeah, he did talk to the dolphin. Oh, that's not a shark.
No, it's not. Go. This is like the power of the deep, you know?
That whale got really close to shore.
Yeah, that's pretty, that's a beached whale, for sure. He's like, don't hurt my whale.
That whale's basically on shore.
Oh my god. Oh,
And that's it.
it's so
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I don't think there's necessarily anything else. Did you see Black Noir? Noir had a little clip as well
Let's see, I don't think
from
he
a
did.
few weeks ago. Yeah, I think they're adding a lot of new characters. Given
I'm on page
Oh, look,
134.
it's Gus Freed.
Chain of command doesn't apply to other military contractors in the field. I don't see why it should apply to us.
Caprese sandwich.
Well, when they're in actual combat, whom exactly do your
Oh,
heroes?
hey, I know that actor too.
Same person as always. Me.
It's Bobby from Supernatural.
like we see more Black Noir.
Spicy chicken cilantro wrap.
Subheading 16. We need a top secret Yankee White designation for Compound B.
Come on, Stan. Only one man okays that. You want to stroll into the Oval Office and start barking orders?
Hell yes. Half our own heroes don't know they have Compound B in their veins. You want China finding out?
Pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my name.
Oh god, he's just slitting throats.
Nature on my name. Ah, yeah.
Oh god.
This one.
Is that strong?
Best efforts to limit
Jeez.
collateral damage. We'd prefer stronger.
I think we talked about it. I think all the heroes are like that strong.
LA, Chicago.
Yeah, it's true.
Exactly what casualty allowance are we looking at here?
Officially? 0, of course. But cone of silence? 34%.
Veggie frittata.
34% casualties.
هيكتروا الكلمات بدنا جملة تشد الانتباه شو رأيك ترى بالحقيقة؟ هي جملة تمام أنا بفتكر إنه
I like how they make the They're kind of racist. They make the terrorist like explode, and that's his power.
Yeah, basically.
The head is so CGI.
So if you meet me, have some courtesy, have some sympathy, and some taste. Use all your well-earned politics, or I'll lay your soul to waste. Yeah. Nice to meet you. Hope you get my name.
But, yeah,
Oh my goodness.
I think that's the only.
September 1st?
Oh, what?
Cool.
September 4th.
4th? Oh, okay.
I thought it was in August. What?
Oh,
Did-
wow.
Actually, did you hear they already
Leaked.
announced the season 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Hmm.
Boys must be doing pretty well.
Boys be boys, I suppose.
But it seems like they have more budget too. I mean, if you're like that scene alone,
Well, they got
was
some
like-
pretty big actors.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the killings and the head slicing offs will get better. The CGI will get better as by the third season.
Well, with the
Unfortunately, the budget gets bigger as the seasons go on, but the writing gets worse. It's kind of how it goes. It's unfortunate. It's just like
not everything's
it's just
Game
like
of Thrones.
no, but Game of Thrones is very typical.
Breaking
Look at the
Bad's
Shrek
okay.
series.
Oh, you know, I
Shrek
haven't-
1, great. Shrek 2, okay. Shrek 3, terrible. You know, Puss in Boots, terrible.
I like Puss in Boots.
I never saw it actually, so I'm just gonna say that right now.
I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen Shrek 2 or 3 either.
I remember Shrek 2 being okay. I remember Shrek 3 being like, it's just basically the girl Shrek. And you're like,
I heard Shrek 2 was good. That's what I heard. I don't know. I mean,
but anyway, but there's a lot of shows like that where, and there's a reason why. There's a logical reason why too. It's not just because the magical beings that that's the way it is. Is it takes a lot of time to write quality stuff. You write it down, you reread it, you see if that's the way you want it, you edit, and you keep writing. And when you're telling such a deep story, especially something like Game of Thrones, like that guy probably wrote one season every 5 years. Like if he was writing in the time he wanted to.
I mean George R. R. Martin.
Yeah, to write that in depth of a show, like each season, which was basically a book for him, he would be comfortable with like 5 years. He'd probably get done in like 3 or 4, but like I wouldn't be surprised if it took 5.
He still has 2 more books to go, right?
Yeah, so I mean he's still finishing up like basically season 6, I believe. I think he finished season 6. Maybe he's on season 7 because he's part of the ways that season 5. Anyways, it's not Game of Thrones.
Yeah. But I think a lot of shows suffer.
That's my only worry about shows when we start.
Well, like what comes like I think it's like the Lost problem, right? Where Lost, they like it's so good early on because they set up all this thing and it gets you to think.
Right.
about-
Well, and then exactly, and they when they write the first season or the first episode of something or whatever it is, they had so much time. They had basically infinite time when that show debuted for the first season. So like someone could have wrote the first season of something for 10 years. And it was spectacular, the best. And then all of a sudden that season's ending and everyone's like, oh, when's the next one coming out? And like, oh shit, everyone's asking for the next season. Like, I gotta get it done in a year, minimum, maybe 2 years. That's what Rick and Morty, the problem with Rick and Morty had. So that's all I worry about. Usually production, once it's proven to be a good first season production, everyone's like, oh, well, yeah, we'll give them more money to better themselves,
Yeah.
But then the writer's like, I have to do this in like a third of the time I did the first
Well, The
season.
Boys is based off a comic book. I mean, that doesn't really mean anything because Game of Thrones. Well, I think the comics.
It does mean a little bit because you already have a spine to follow. You already have a structure. And that's why Walking Dead did it so well. Because Walking Dead basically followed the comic books, however they veered off, but they didn't really have to write all the depth. The depth was already basically there. All they had to do was kind of align it differently, and they split differently when they decided to. Like at some point, it was a butterfly effect. It was so different than it can never meet back.
Yeah.
If you follow a comic like that. So I don't know much about the comic and The Boys. And this one, I'm sure they're going to differ. I'm sure it's going to have a butterfly effect to where eventually would be not quite the same thing, but the same thing. I'm looking forward to season 2 and all it has to offer.